Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Buck Stops Here. I am Catherine Murray. Well, we have a great show coming up for you today, a very busy docket on a lot of items that do affect your money, the markets, and your business, which is why we have this program. And for that, let me bring in Harris Fricker. He is the president of Stifel Canada. Harris, great to have you on the program. There's a lot to cover because there is a lot going on, and it's kind of big picture macro. So thanks so much for joining us.
Pleasure to be here, Catherine, as always.
Thank you. Let's start with the first up in terms of the agenda and the items that a lot of investors are focused on, which of course is the Fed. They will come out with their policy decision today after a two-day meeting. And, we have to step back and recognize that Fed policies, central bank policies, the Fed or the BOC, and around the world has really dictated markets, costs, interest rates, inflation, valuation. So that's why I want to remind people that that's why we spend a lot of time focusing on this. So what's your view right now in terms of federal policy and where we might go from here?
Yeah, so we're all watching FOMC for this afternoon, and the market is pretty much pricing in already a 25 basis discount on the Fed rate. Canada's obviously been able to ease with prime coming down recently, but obviously Canada has to be respectful of the U.S. dollar and relative value to the C dollar. We do see continued easing. Even if you look at the 5-year Treasury in Canada, the 5-year bond, it was 360 at the beginning of the month, and it's trading this morning at 3.13. So we're already seeing yields come down, and obviously the focus will be on the FOMC today, but definitely moving into an easing environment. The one caution with U.S. versus Canada is we haven't had the exceptional stimulation from the Inflation Reduction Act that they've had in the States. So it's been a little easier for us on the inflationary side. But it'll be interesting to see how the U.S. Moves forward. But easing is in the cards.
Easing is in the cards. My question, though, it was interesting to see the Bank of Canada ease twice in the past two meetings, so we're down 50 basis points from prior highs. Do you have any concerns, though, Harris? Because when you look at the Canadian inflation data, it is still sticky, and the BOC did lower their current growth estimate. I mean, they've picked it up a little bit for later, but is the environment not somewhat concerning as it relates to stagflation?
I think the environment is definitely concerning, and it probably goes to the bigger macro picture. And with this U.S. election, my perspective is it's really democracy that's on trial here, and we're going to see, basically a U.S. government that's dealing with now a $35 trillion budgetary. We're at 1.5 trillion here in Canada, and why I say democracy's on trial is really since we came off Bretton Woods in '71, and we moved from borrowing backed by assets, which were gold, to borrowing backed by ability to pay. And
Mm.
really, the G7 has been unable to get off the cycle where the politician buys the vote with future cash flows, and the voter selects the politician based upon where they think the most dollars will be coming to their group or demographic. And we don't
Hmm.
have a revenue problem in this country. We have a spending problem, and
Hmm.
that's reminiscent of where we've been since '71. It's the single biggest challenge for democracies: how to exercise financial prudence when you get awarded at electoral time for spending. Tough one.
So how do you think that plays out? Because to your point, it has continued. So will we see an end at some point? And one of the questions, of course, is what does that end look like? I mean, many people would say we've had the financial crisis, but not many people, but we had the financial crisis, and that will be nothing compared to the next crisis, which would be a sovereign debt crisis around the world. Is that kind of what you're talking about, or not really? That's far off in the distance.
Absolutely. I think it's very pertinent because these things don't matter till they do. And I was watching a political discussion yesterday, and they were asking, is policy going to be a feature of the debates? And the person said, absolutely not. It'll be about very high level. Nobody wants to talk debt. It's boring and it's not fun for the electorate,
Right.
but it is a looming problem across the board.
Right. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.